What is a cycle? The word cycle comes from the word circle. A cycle is a completed process. If a cycle repeats, it forms a pattern. Cycles are part of larger cycles, which contain smaller and shorter cycles within them. We call these nested cycles. Nested cycles create layered, fractal, and resonant time. The circles of time are actually spirals. They're not one-dimensional, but rather three-dimensional vortices.
For one example of how time is nested in layered cycles within nested in layered cycles, we have this line of matryoshkas. You can see how the smallest Russian nesting doll here represents a second of time. A second is a completed cycle. 60 seconds lie within a minute of time. A minute of time is a completed cycle of time, which nests within an hour. Hours nest within days. Days nest within months. And months nest within years. When we experience linear time, it can often feel like a straight line, just the way these matryoshkas are lined up on this piece of paper. Sometimes that is exactly how time feels to us. But in reality, that is not how time is. The reality is the seconds rest within the minutes. The minutes rest within hours. Hours rest within days. Days nest within months. Months rest within years. Though the completed cycle of the year can feel like this,
in actuality, it is like this. The events are nested within each other, just like these inner concentric circles of the nesting dolls. The cycles get more complex as they nest more and more within themselves. An hour is more complex than a minute, which is more complex than a second, and a year is infinitely more complex than a day.
The same applies to the 4 seasons of a year. We have spring, summer, autumn, and winter lined up here. As we move through time, it feels like they are spread out in such a linear manner, but in truth, they are completed cycles, nesting within each other. Here we see the seasons nested within the year. Here we have 2 different versions of a year, with different nested cycles within them. One year has the nested cycles of the seasons within it, and the other year has the nested cycles of the hour and the second and the month within it. With this, we can begin to see how complex time can become, with all these different cycles interacting at different rhythms within a larger cycle. They are, in fact, the same year, but these are different cycles moving within that same year. Life works in the same way. Life is a series of nested cycles of energy from the quantum level up. Particles like protons are made up of smaller particles called quarks. Protons make up atoms, and atoms make up molecules, which in turn make up cells, which make up multicellular life. Though it can feel that they're separate, the reality is that they're nested within each other, the same way as time is. All of physical reality has the same cyclic nature. Here we see how the Earth is nested within the solar system, which nests within the galaxy, which nests in a supercluster of galaxies, and these are all nested systems within the universe as a whole. The universe is also nested systems within nested systems. These systems are cycles, which repeat and have patterns we can interact with. Time is also like this, though it feels as though the past, the present, and the future are lined up like these Russian nesting dolls. That is not the truth of reality. The past is held within the present. The future surrounds the present.
All time exists always, nested within itself in layered, fractal, and resonant cycles. Please join us for part 4, where we explore the concept of fractal time.